Breaking news today: in its protracted conflict with Hamas, Israel is racing against the clock. An Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) official tells Newsweek that increasing internal and external pressure is influencing the scope and length of the campaign as Israel fights what its government claims will be a long-term war to defeat the Palestinian Hamas movement and return hostages held in the Gaza Strip. It's also realizing that we have to move swiftly to save the hostages. But we can confidently state that it will take more than just a few days, likely weeks, and likely months. The world was stunned and caught off guard by the extraordinary all-out attack launched by Hamas against Israel on October 7. Palestinian factions launched their deadliest ever attack, killing an estimated 1,200 Israelis, mostly civilians, and taking over 240 hostage. Officials in the Hamas-led territory estimate the number of Palestinian casualties to be close to or even beyond 20,000. This comes after more than 2 months of international outcry following Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's declaration of war on Gaza. The majority of the casualties in Gaza, according to both Israeli and Palestinian authorities, are civilians, and the death toll could easily surpass 15,000. In recent weeks, even American officials have urged their ally to take more measures to prevent civilian deaths, echoing Israeli claims about the right to defend oneself from an enemy that wants it destroyed. On the other hand, the IDF official maintains that Israel's predicament is distinct from all others. When we consider the pressure we're under, we must approach it in a unique way compared to previous wars and try to comprehend the reasons why it's so different, the IDF official says. No other country has taken 247 hostages, fired fewer than 11,000 rockets, or fought against the world's most entrenched terrorist army. The public is now starting to hear what that means, being a hostage of Hamas, if we even needed more proof of their horrific barbarian behavior, but we know that's something that we need to do rapidly. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have already changed their strategy in the southern part of Gaza, where Israeli authorities had earlier ordered over 1 million Palestinians to flee before the first ground offensive began in late October. The IDF has instituted a comprehensive system to warn civilians of imminent operations on a neighborhood-by-neighborhood basis. This system includes issuing real-time online alerts, making calls, sending text messages, and dropping leaflets. The White House has threatened to withhold support for the Southern campaign. The official from the IDF does point out that the international community is becoming increasingly impatient, so time is of the importance. We also have, of course, the international clock, and we have a humanitarian clock, many clocks that sometimes tick at different paces but are putting more pressure, the spokesperson for the IDF. It will take time to dismantle those 500 shafts in the north, but we know that acting decisively is also a part of reaching our goals. Because if you do it quickly, that's when we lost soldiers, and that's part of that complicated challenge. Taking advantage of these global concerns, Hamas has called for intervention to stop Israel's campaign and has shown confidence in its ability to physically remove the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, telling Newsweek, one Hamas spokesman said that Israel will fail to achieve its goals. The Israeli occupation works to portray a victory in the face of the killing of children and women and the destruction of homes over people's heads, the spokesperson for Hamas stated. The occupation's persistent aggression against the Gaza Strip is aimed at creating this illusion of triumph. The death toll exceeded 20,000. Is this a picture of triumph? May I call this heroic? Praise be to God, the resistance is far from over. In every corner of the Gaza Strip, the resistance is launching new attacks on the Zionist army. According to God's plan, the resistance is fierce and will continue to be so. An anonymous IDF official told Newsweek that there are different clocks at work in the current campaign, which could affect the timeline for accomplishing these two operational goals. We understand that there are a lot of different clocks that have impact on this and how fast we can go, and in kinetic ways, as well, according to an IDF official. Is it possible that a widespread strike would cause other clocks to slow down as a result of the international pressure that would accompany it? Poverty increases in southern Gaza as Israel attacks. World Health Organization asks that hospitals be spared. Half of Gaza's population is reportedly starving, according to aid agencies. The UN World Food Program has put the figure at 50%. A representative from the World Health Organization has pleaded for the continued operation of the 11 hospitals in Gaza, saying that only one-third of them are fully operational. Israeli warplanes and tanks shelled southern Gaza on Tuesday, and the United Nations reported that aid was being largely withheld from Gazans who are facing increasing hunger due to the intensity of fighting in the Israel-Gaza war, which is now in its third month. Residents in Khan Yunis, the main city in southern Gaza, reported tank shelling last week as Israeli troops began to storm the city.